The teacher, okay, ready?
Gita MS ആണോ ഗീത ജാനറ്റ് ആണോ അറിയാൻ വയ്യ. ഗീത എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്
രണ്ടുപേരും റെഡിയാണ്.
ജിബി, ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ്.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. പിതാവേ, ഈശ്വരൻ സ്തുതിയായിരിക്കട്ടെ പിതാവേ. Good morning, പിതാവേ.
Thank you.
ജിബി, ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ്.
Good morning, ഗീത ടീച്ചറെ, മോൾ ടീച്ചറെ, ശോഭ ടീച്ചറെ, ഗീത ടീച്ചർ, ഗീത ആൻഡ്രൂ ടീച്ചർ. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, all.
Good morning, Guru teacher. Good morning.
Good morning. Raghu sir, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
ശോഭ
രഘു സാർ വീഡിയോ ഇടാത്ത എന്താ? രഘു സാറ് വീഡിയോ ഓൺ ചെയ്യാവോ?
Yes.
കാണാമല്ലോ സാർ എല്ലാരെയും. ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ് സാർ. കണ്ടാലേ ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ് പറയാൻ തോന്നുന്നു.
Mustafa sir, good morning sir.
മുസ്തഫയ്ക്ക് 34 പേരായി. ഹിന്ദു TV
34. Others will join.
Others will join. അവരിങ്ങനെ സാറ്റർഡേ അല്ലേ അതൊക്കെ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യാന്നൊക്കെ വിചാരിച്ചു.
പിന്നെ പല കോളേജസ് വർക്കിംഗ് ഡേ ആണ്.
എന്തായാലും റിസോഴ്സ് ക്ലാസ് കേട്ടാൽ മതി. ക്ലാസ് കേൾക്കത്തൊക്കെ വേണം ചെയ്യുമായിരിക്കും എല്ലാവരും.
We have to seriously think about changing the time. വൈകുന്നേരത്തേക്ക് ആക്കുന്ന കാര്യം ആലോചിക്കണം. തിരുവേനി നമുക്ക് ആലോചിക്കണം.
ഗീത ടീച്ചറെ 11 മണിക്ക് ഒരു മൗനാചരണം ഉണ്ട്. 11 മണിക്ക് മഹാത്മാഗാന്ധിയുടെ രക്തസാക്ഷി.
We can start before that we conclude, no?
Yeah. Now 11 o'clock we stop for a minute.
1 മണിക്കൂറാണ് ടോക്ക്. അപ്പൊ സാറ് ഇതുപോലെ 11:45 പോകണം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ അതിനു മുൻപ് ടോക്കും കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ജസ്റ്റ് ഒരു 5 minutes 10 minutes ഇന്ററാക്ഷൻ ടൈം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അങ്ങനെ കൊടുത്തിട്ട് 11:45 മുസ്തഫ സാറിനെ വിടണം. അപ്പൊ
11 മണിക്ക് 1 മിനിറ്റ് മൗനം ബ്രേക്ക് ചെയ്തിട്ട് 1 മിനിറ്റ് മൗനം.
പറയില്ലേ സാർ 11 മണിക്ക്? രഘു സാർ ഒന്ന് പറയണം. 11 മണിക്ക് ഒരു മിനിറ്റ് സാർ ഒന്ന് പറയുമല്ലോ.
ടീച്ചർ പറഞ്ഞോളൂ. ഇറ്റ്സ് ഓക്കെ. യു ആർ മാനേജിംഗ് ഇറ്റ്. നോ പ്രോബ്ലം. യു മേക്ക് എ ബ്രേക്ക്. ഓക്കെ.
10 മണിയായി. നമുക്ക് തുടങ്ങിയാലോ?
തുടങ്ങാം ടീച്ചറെ.
പിതാവേ
നമുക്ക് തുടങ്ങാമല്ലോ.
ജോയിൻ ചെയ്തു.
Then you can start now.
ഏകദേശം 2:30 രജിസ്ട്രേഷൻ ഉണ്ട്. പിന്നെ അപ്പൊ ഞങ്ങള് വിചാരിച്ചതെന്ന് വെച്ചാല് 100 കഴിയുമ്പോ യൂട്യൂബ് ലിങ്ക് ഇട്ട് കൊടുക്കാം. ഒരു 90 കഴിയുമ്പോ യൂട്യൂബ് ലിങ്ക് ഇടാമെന്നാണ് വിചാരിച്ചത്. അപ്പൊ എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു ഒരു 10-10:30 ആവുമായിരിക്കും എല്ലാവരും ഇങ്ങനെ കയറി വരുമ്പോഴേ.
അത്ര ആൾക്കാർ വരുമോ ടീച്ചറെ? 24 പേരേ ഉള്ളു ഇപ്പൊ. വർക്കിംഗ് ഡേ
ഇപ്പൊ 36 പേരുണ്ട്.
26 സാറേ. 38
People are joining.
ചോക്കാമ്പളത്തെ വന്നോളൂ.
അതെ. They will join. We'll start. We'll keep the time.
Yeah.
നമുക്ക് തുടങ്ങിയാലോ പിതാവേ? തുടങ്ങാം. Okay. Dr. Nancy.
Okay. A warm good morning to all. I welcome each one of you to the talk series research methodology, research Parley, which is organized by Association of Researchers of Indian Origin, Airio, which is an organization for promoting research in education. Prayer is power. Let's start our program with an invocation. For that, I invite Dr. Deepthi Elizabeth Matthew.
സത്യമായി ശുദ്ധ സ്നേഹമായി നിത്യജ്ഞാനമായി വാഴും ദൈവമേ, നിത്യവും നിൻ കൃപാകടാക്ഷങ്ങൾ കേകണേ ഞങ്ങൾക്കെപ്പോഴും. പാരിലാലംബ ഹീനരായോരെ സേവിപ്പാൻ ശക്തി നൽകണം. സത്യധർമാദി സൽഗുണങ്ങളാൽ ജീവിതം ധന്യമാക്കണം. സത്യമായി ശുദ്ധ സ്നേഹമായി നിത്യജ്ഞാനമായി വാഴും ദൈവമേ, നിത്യവും നിൻ കൃപാകടാക്ഷങ്ങൾ ഏകണേ ഞങ്ങൾക്കെപ്പോഴും.
Dr. M.S. Geeta, President, Airio Kerala Chapter, former Dean of Education, University of Kerala, former Principal, Government College of Teacher Education. I invite ma'am to the welcome and introductory speech.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
His Excellency Reverend Dr. Joseph Mar Thomas, the Global President of Airio, most respected resource person of today, Professor Mohammadunni alias Mustafa, dear Airio members in and outside Kerala, office bearers of Kerala, national and global, the coordinator of this program, Dr. Nancy, and all who have registered for this session and attending currently. My greetings to all of you. Hope you are all keeping fine and healthy in this COVID period. I'm so happy to announce one of the grand steps put forward by Association of International Researchers of Indian Origin, Airio, by introducing a monthly research talk series for the researchers in education. As the name indicates, Association of International Researchers of Indian Origin, Airio feels the inevitability of making the researchers know the minute aspect of research in education. When they step into the field of research and when they submit their report to an agency. Every educator who is guiding the researchers in the university senses that researchers under them do not know how to move with their topic. The different chapters in the thesis, especially the methodology, the different research designs, the statistical part, and the bibliography, etc. Even the research guides do not know thoroughly, and the students MEd, MPhil, and PhD are at sea when they begin their research work. Also, because of the advent of technology and research, the researchers copy and paste everything without knowing the concept of plagiarism and without knowing the research ethics. They don't know how to cite the different sources. That is, how to write the references or bibliography in a particular citation pattern. Another thing is that even though some researchers are producing excellent pieces in the field of education, which deserves credit and patents, our researchers in education do not know how to move for securing patents for their research work. All these things made us realize that such quality awareness classes, resource classes are necessary for research scholars in this field. That is why this humble attempt. As the president of Airio Kerala chapter, I approached our beloved bishop, who is the global president of Airio, Dr. Joseph Mar Thomas, with a proposal to conduct a monthly research talk series. He readily agreed to my request, hence the commencement of this class. I am so thankful to His Excellency for giving permission for this series of online classes. On behalf of the participants attending this program, I graciously welcome you. You are gracious to this session.
Thank you.
In this context, I should add something more. Day before yesterday, he suggested a modification for this program. That is, instead of conducting this program by only one chapter, why don't we think of these programs under the label of different chapters in the world, uh, in different months of the year? We have many chapters in India and abroad. That is, we have state chapters, national chapters, and international chapters. And he suggested that each chapter should take initiative in conducting the program in separate months. So we have framed a timetable or for distributing to all the chapters, stating that who will take initiative on which month. I will read out that timetable for the listeners. Top one, January, Kerala chapter is doing. We are doing this today, this inaugural session. And top two, February, Karnataka chapter. Top three, March, Goa chapter. Top four, April, National chapter India. Top five, May, Kerala chapter again. Top 6, June, Tamil Nadu chapter. Top 7 in July, International chapter Thailand. Top 8 in August, International chapter UAE. Top 9 in September, that is again Karnataka chapter. And top 10, Goa chapter, that is in October 2021, and top 11 Maharashtra chapter, that is in November 2021, and top 12 Delhi chapter, December 2021. This is all about the program, that is introduction of the program. Now, let me come to my special duty of welcoming our resource person. It is a great pleasure for me to introduce the resource person, Professor Muhammad Uni Elias Mustafa, who is going to enlighten and entertain us with the topic New Directions of Research. Dr. Mustafa is the professor and dean, Department of Education, Central University, Kasaragod, who has got 22 years of teaching experience with excellent track record as a teacher, educator, researcher, academician, and administrator. His area of research and academic interest include psychological and sociological perspectives of education and training of faculties and students on different perspectives of education. And about the academic position he held previously, he was a former controller of examination, Calicut University, Kerala, and former director, School of Education, School of Distance Education, University of Calicut, and former director in charge, UGC, Academic Staff College, University of Calicut, and member Board of Studies in Education, Calicut University, member Academic Council, and member Faculty of Education, University of Calicut, and former program officer, NSS University of Calicut, NSS University of Calicut, and former convener, Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad, Chair, University of Calicut, and former member, Senate, University of Calicut, and a member of Council for Teacher Education Foundation, Kerala. And today, he agreed to take a class on new directions of research. This topic, new directions of research, is a special topic for all research scholars. And I know you are all deeply interested in this topic, since all of you are expecting something new from this talk series. I am certainly grateful to him for readily accepting our invitation to become the resource person today. Very gladly, I extend a warm welcome to you, sir, to this session.
Thank you very much, madam.
Okay. And since this is the first program of Airio this year in Kerala state, public recognition is necessary for this program. And every time this recognition is gained through felicitation speeches. And today we have with us Dr. Geeta Janet Vitus from Department of Education, University of Kerala, who is also the Vice President of Airio Kerala chapter for felicitating this function. I extend a very warm welcome to you, Madam, for the session.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. The success of such programs always depends on the participants of the program. Today, about 230 participants are attending this class through Google Meet and YouTube. We are expecting so, and I am very glad to welcome all the participants to this session. And I welcome the Airio executive members, especially the Global Treasurer, Dr. G.B. Givargis, and Vice President Professor Jacob Matthew, Kerala Chapter Vice President Dr. Geeta Janet Vitus and Dr. Keva Benedict, and the Treasurer as well as the Coordinator Dr. Nancy. It is because of their support and cooperation I could do all these things within this time limit. I thank them as well as welcome them to this session, all of you. And Professor Mustafa will talk about 1 hour. And after after his speech, I think we can have a 15 minutes interaction session, a very brief interaction session, because he has to go, he has to leave the session by 11:45. So we can begin the next program. I am stopping. The feedback form will be sent to you after the class by 11:30. We can send the feedback form. Kindly fill it up. All the participants kindly fill it up and send it back if you want a certificate. Otherwise, you are not getting the certificate if you are not filling up the feedback form. Okay. And I am stopping my speech. Let me invite His Excellency, the Reverend Dr. Joseph Mark Thomas, for the inaugural address. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning to all. I think I am audible.
Audible, Bidave.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Dr.
Very clear.
Mustafa,
Very clear.
the guest of honor, resource person, Professor Dean, Department of Education, Central University, Kerala. Dr. M.S. Geeta, President, Airio Kerala Chapter. Dr. Raghu, President, Airio National. Dr. G.B. Givargis, Treasurer, Global Airio. Dr. Geeta Janet Waits, Vice President, Airio Kerala Chapter. Dr. K.Y. Benedict, Vice President, Airio Kerala Chapter. Dr. Jacob Matthew, Vice President, Airio Global. Dr. Shofa, Vice President, Tamil Nadu Chapter. Dr. Molekuti, Secretary, Kerala Chapter. Dr. NCS, Treasurer, Airio Kerala Chapter. Dr. Georgiou, Deepthi, and all other distinguished office bearers of Airio, participants, ladies and gentlemen. I am so happy to be with you this morning to participate and inaugurate the Research Parley talk series on research methodology. Organized by the 3 chapters of Airio, namely Airio Global, Airio National, and Airio Regional. The leaders of Airio has designed a prize-worthy task. I congratulate all the leaders of Airio, especially Dr. M.S. Geeta, the President of Kerala Chapter, for arranging today's seminar on the topic New Directions of Research. Again, she has been instrumental in identifying Dr. Mustafa, the eminent scholar for today's talk. I once more welcome Dr. Mustafa to this function on behalf of Airio. Well, research is a form of academic endeavor that requires a theoretical and methodological line of thought. In a research, we are presenting our own analysis, assumptions, or line of reasoning. For this, we need three variables: theoretical base, methodology, and content. In research, we expand information about the topic through investigation to draw conclusions and suggestions for improvement. I hope the webinar on new directions of research will unveil several new variables of research, and it will be beneficial to the investigators and the directors of research. I wish God's blessings to the seminar. With these few words, I am happy to declare that the webinar is inaugurated. May God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pidave. Thank you very much. Next, may I invite Dr. Geeta Janet Vitus from Department of Education, University of Kerala, for the felicitation speech. Dr. Geeta, please.
Very good morning to all. Most respected His Excellency Dr. Joseph Mar Thomas and all the distinguished guests or the members of Airio family and our chief guest Dr. Mustafa and all my friends. This is a big initiative on the part of Airio. From the very beginning or from the inception of Airio onwards, we have taken initiative to give more emphasis to educational research. And when we look at educational research, we can see that it is now being subsidized. This is not my statement. I'm quoting from Stuart Jones. He has published a new book, Current Trends and New Directions of Educational Research. And he has stated there that our educational research is subsidized. It is something like everybody needs a doctorate degree in front of their name for the sake of promotion. 20% of the people are like that. But there is 80%, that is my belief, who are keen on discussing, analyzing, and arriving at conclusions based on the new issues and trends in educational research. But often we come across students under our guidance when we go through them. 50% of them are mostly interested in doing research genuinely. But there is that other 50% who always wants to, as MSc the teacher told, to copy, cut, paste, and bring us something. And when we are not happy with that, we have to be very diligent in what they are bringing and looking into that, whether it's bogus or it is a copy paste thing. And we have all the tools right now to see Urkun, Grammarly, everything is there. We check and tell them there is plagiarism and they are not interested in that. But the trend has to change. Rather than the quantity of research, we need to look at the quality of research. And these steps by Airio, like this is a new initiative right now, but Airio was always keen on giving more dynamic research, especially in education. And every meeting of Airio contributed something. But we have to show that also to the outer world. But when we start a series or a research Parley like this is an opportunity for every researcher to come and hear the new things through the talks given by the great people or the great researchers, and they can benefit from this. And I appreciate this initiative of Airio, and I wish all the best for Airio with the blessings of His Excellency Dr. Mark Joseph Thomas, who is always there to motivate us to follow the path. And I also wish all the best to Dr. Mustafa, who is the beginner in this series, and everybody who is participating in this. Stay blessed and get more from this Parley. So attend every month one program of Airio and get enriched and be good researchers, be good research guides, be good research students. All the very best. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Geeta Janet Vitus. Now it is the time for the class, and I extend a very warm welcome to Dr. Mustafa, and may I invite him for the class. Dr. Mustafa, you can begin the class. Dr. Mustafa? Hello? Hello?
He's in the line, but I think it's connection problems.
There is some problem with the soundtrack.
Good morning. Hello? Hello? Dr. Mustafa? Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello.
You can begin the class, sir. You can begin the class. Hello? Hello, sir. You can begin the class, sir.
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yes, audible.
Very good morning to one and all. Most respected His Excellency Revered Dr. Joseph Mark Thomas, Sir, the Global President of Airio, Professor Dr. M.S. Geeta, President of Airio Kerala Chapter, Professor Dr. Geeta Janet Vitas, Vice President of Airio Kerala Chapter, Dr. G.B. Givargis, Global Treasurer of Airio, my beloved and respected Dr. Regu sir, Dr. Molikuti Madam, Professor Dr. K.Y. Benedict, Dr. Ansi Madam, and all the office bearers of Airio, and my beloved academicians, researchers, prospective researchers who are attending this program, I extend warm welcome on my personal behalf as well as on behalf of my institution, Central University of Kerala. I would like to express my humble but accountable appreciation to the precise but very worthful blessing message given by our beloved Father. I do believe that in this very precise but very inspiring few lines, the entire message is open and very clear. And
I think some disturbances are there.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe problem with the line. Net
Yes.
problem, maybe. It's not
Yes.
connecting. Has left the meeting.
No, maybe technical issue. Will be coming
Maybe,
back.
yeah.
Mm.
Let us wait patiently.
പോയതല്ലല്ലോ അല്ലേ?
Yeah, it's there. If you have the
It's
phone
back.
number, you may just contact him.
His mic is off.
Now it's on.
It's
See,
back.
I'll be switching to another device.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay.
Pardon me. Give me few minutes, just.
Okay, sir.
So
Okay,
that
sir,
will
okay.
be there. Or else.
Okay, sir, is it okay?
Okay. Present my.
Sir, you please switch off the other device. The first one.
Yes. Thank you. One minute. Let me share my presentation.
KV thumbs up, yeah.
അഡ്മിൻ ബാക്കി എല്ലാവരുടെയും മൈക്ക് ഒന്ന് മ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യുമോ? അഡ്മിൻ ബാക്കി എല്ലാവരുടെയും മൈക്ക് ഒന്ന് മ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യുമോ? ചില മൈക്ക് ഓൺ ആയിരിക്കുന്നു.
So my presentation visible?
Yes.
Yes. Geeta madam, please. My presentation is visible. My presentation is
We can hear you.
It is coming up. Yeah, it is clear now.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes. You can continue, sir. You can continue.
And a lot of
Two devices are.
Mr. Professor, please switch off the other device. First one.
I muted. I stopped that audio.
But still there is disturbance, sir.
സാറിന്റെ രണ്ട് സ്വിച്ചും അടുത്തടുത്ത് ഹലോ സാറിന്റെ രണ്ട് ഡിവൈസ് അടുത്തടുത്തിരിക്കുന്നോണ്ട് ഒരെണ്ണം വെച്ച് മാറ്റി വെച്ചാൽ പ്രോബ്ലം മാറും.
മ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യാതെ ഓഫ് ആക്കി വെക്കണം സാറേ.
വോളിയം 0 ആക്കിയിട്ട് പൊസിഷൻ മാറ്റി വെച്ചാൽ മതി.
ഇപ്പൊ ശരി.
ഹലോ. ഓക്കെ ആയി.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. You can continue.
So sorry for all these kind of troubles. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, 1 minute, 1 minute.
Okay.
Yes. So my submission will be for the coming 50 to 55 minutes. I'll be focusing on the trajectory of the research. And further, I will be moving to need for a shift from a pedagogical imposition to a pragmatic approach. And we will together try to find out in an exploratory way what are the modern trends. And last, as a concluding remark, I will submit before this august audience, galaxy of academicians, what are the challenges we are facing in infusing such a vibrant research culture to the educational research, and how we will be able to overcome that challenges. And as I rightly pointed out, this is the best attempt and effort to find out new solutions for making a roadmap for the prospective research. And I got very impressed by this term. My appreciation and congratulations to the organizers, and especially I don't know who coined this term, research Parley. And it is a very good initiative and creative also. So friends, research, as we know, we have been doing research for our doctoral and grading research. See, and major functions of the research we can stipulate and speculate in three aspects. Either it is knowledge production, or knowledge verification, or knowledge application. So this is the function for which a research find out new knowledge or verify the existing knowledge or apply or to facilitate the application of the existing knowledge in the field. And now what is to be focused? Very often my reflections which I am making on this platform, I do believe and convince that it is applicable first to me, then only applicable to others. So I am taking it as a self-criticism and self-reflection. So very often we fail to justify the research method or involved in the process of the research. As rightly pointed out in the beginning in the introductory remark, we are adopting a research methodology or with a research design, but very often in the process of that research, the researcher, especially in the educational sector with my limited experience of research, I must, as a self-critical manner, I must say that very often we are not able to justify the the logic behind adopting that specific methodology. And this research strategy also faces some of the major challenges. I will ascribe and put these challenges in threefold manner. The first one is a process called intent hijack. I will elaborate what these concepts are. And the second challenge we are facing is deficiency of consumable data. And the third aspect which we are facing as a challenge is over dependence on overseas or foreign culture of research, rather than depending on an indigenous way of doing research. So, friends, every single research, the researcher is capable of launching a satellite which would illuminate every dark corner of this world. And it is on which the ontological and phylogenic evolution and development of the human as a race depend on the research culture, which stems from the culture of inquisitiveness. But though the research scholar or researcher is capable of launching a satellite for illuminating every dark corner of the world, but due to the three challenges on the process the researcher is facing, the research scholar could not able to justify the intention of the research. That is my point. How it happens? See, this consequence of what prefers to call as an intent hijack, either by the language or flamboyance of it, or especially if it is doing research in a foreign language, it steals, sabotage, and robs us of our original intention. As for example, if I am moving to a critical reflection of one of the research conducted at university for a doctoral program, the researcher intends to probe and explore and synthesis to the way how its gender disparity is there in the Kerala school system. Initially, the researchers aim to dig out what are all the aspects and by which means how the practical difficulties, the perceptions, etc. And the researcher also intends to reveal in an anecdote matter, in a micro manner, and taking this micro manner, highlighting the entire scenario of the Kerala school system, how the gender disparity is there empirically. But when it moves to the academic formalities, then the anxiety of the completion, the anxiety of the reporting, and the over anxiety of the consequences of reporting, etc., all these forces the researcher to withdraw, and as a result, the intention of the researcher is curtailed. And this is called a phenomenon called intent hijack. That is what is happening in the field of educational research culture in many of the educational research. And if we are talking to ourselves, and if we are in a constructive way, if you are making a revisit to the journey of our research, we will be convinced that in many of our cases, even our researchers has affected by this kind of a problem named intent hijack. And after, deviating from this intention, while presenting the research, presenting the findings, the language overwhelms the original ideas. And when the researchers are approaching for submitting their proposals, I am talking to the academic research, specifically concentrating on the research pursuit for the students who are for the PhD in the educational discipline. When it comes to the research synopsis or proposal submission, the researcher feels that it is having a lot of value, social relevance, timely relevance. He or she will be able to dig out and reveal some of the pertinent social issues, etc. Then we will be asking the guide or the team, the entire team will be asking the aspirant. The aspirant is submitting that my methodology, my research design, it follows a qualitative paradigm. So, but in many of the cases, this quality paradigm at the end of the research work, because of the over anxiety of reporting, it converts to a research merely reporting in terms of some percentage analysis or perception analysis, which is putting in terms of percentage statistical technique. This is what is the original issue from the field. That is what I told. Language overwhelms the original idea and intention of the research. And in many of the research, research process, the researcher lack conceptual clarity on the terms and themes involved in the research methodology. And even in the introductory remark, there the light has been given by Dr. Geeta Madam in this regard. The researcher is not aware of, it's not internalized what are the concepts involved in the research process. Say for illustration, just I am putting one example, the differentiation between the theoretical framework and conceptual framework. And we can, if we analyze the report of many researchers in educational research, it is a practice to see that there is a chapter, there is a section named theoretical framework, where there is no scope for theoretical framework in that particular variable, particular study. But there is a section describing theoretical framework, and there is only a scope for conceptual framework. But for getting some kind of a wrong assumption, for getting some kind of a trigger or rigor of research rigor, the researcher put a section for theoretical framework, but there is no need of a theoretical framework and there is no scope for a theoretical framework. As the slide illustrates, the differentiation between the conceptual framework and the theoretical framework. See, theoretical framework, it clearly illustrates illustrate and put a parameter on the variables or the issues that is underlined by the researcher in that particular research study, but there is no scope for in many researchers for putting that theory. But practically, what the researcher is doing, the researcher is putting some theories which are not directly aligned or related to the work. See, if the variable is having any kind of theoretical support or a new theory, scope for new theory to be evolved as a result of this research, then as a researcher, you can follow, you can place the theoretical framework in your research. But if there is no scope for that, my question or assertion is, what is the need of putting all these kind of technical jargons? Why it happens? Because in the challenge is related to the confusion and conceptual ambiguity that is existing in the field of research culture in the as far as the researcher concerned. And this lack of clarity is there in the case of research technique, research methods, and the methodology used. And research it is a common sense, but a common sense established by means of a scientific and systematic procedure or systematic methodology. When and where that systematic or scientific nature is losing, our research will be nothing but an amalgam of something which we are taking from the field and adding it, putting in a paper and presenting to an academic body. See, anyway, we will be close with the rationale. We are not able to come across with the rationale for using that particular technique or that particular concept in the process of research reporting. Our research is not having that much rationale of existence related to the methodological aspects of the research. This point is to be taken care by all the prospective research. And research approach, if we go through the research approach, it is the normal, these 4-5 elements are very important. The approach of the researcher to the research process is to be a trend setting rather than a trend following. The great challenge that is happening in the field of research culture of education is adherence to the basic and keeping the natural alignment and evolving an original work of the researcher related to the. Then automatically the question arises whether our research, the research is a reproductive one or a derivative one. If it is a reproductive one, it is a replica of the research trend that is existing. If it is a derivative one, it is a trend setter, and as a researcher, you are you are making a pathway to the aspirant researchers. So,
Sir,
my coinage.
Sir, shall I interrupt you?
Yes,
It is
I got the point.
10:59.
It is time for.
Time. Sir, dear participants, today is 30th January, Martyrs' Day. We should observe 2-minute silence, giving tribute to Gandhiji, who embraced martyrdom on January 30th, 1948. Remembering one of his messages, we observe this silence. A man is but a product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes. Yes, 2 minutes silence. Okay, sir. This time. Okay, sir. We can continue, sir.
Yes. So far, we have been altering our mind, and I had submitted two aspects. I had submitted the challenges in terms of three concepts. One is intent hijack, and second is scarcity of consumable data, and the third one is the over dependence on overseas culture of research. These are the three challenges in my limited sphere. If this could able to tackle, the research process will be a trend setting one. Then as a supplement to the second one, which I had already mentioned, data will be there, but is the data is making the data in a consumable manner, because Indian culture of research, though we have a glory of education even in the BCs, and we have a high tradition of education, and we proclaim that, but we lack, due to one or other reason, it happened in the history that documentation culture is not there. So because of that documentation culture, we are not able to produce consumable, depend on we are not able to get consumable data as and when required. This is a problem, and how we will be making that data existing into a consumable manner is the second challenge, and third challenge is the over dependency on overseas culture of research. And the second aspect which I submitted here is our research trend must be a trend-setting research rather than a trend-following research. And as an explanation to that, I emphasized the need for unnecessary left out of the basic concepts or adherent to basics is not at all a fashion. It spoils the genuinity of the research methodology. That is my second point related to the culture. And third one is there should be a natural alignment, and this natural alignment will be bringing a original work to the research to the academic world, for either for knowledge production or for knowledge verification or for application of the knowledge. So here arises the fundamental question whether our research is reproductive in nature or derivative in nature. So I stand for a position of derivative culture of research rather than a reproductive culture. Then another point which I already presented as a concluding note, I want to tell you is the conceptual confusions and ambiguities related to the research methodology, related to the concepts in the research method, and related to every step and process of the research is a big issue as far as the researcher concerned. This is also a challenge. And from this discussion, I am presenting a mathematical equation for a genuine research. Research is a research methodology is the product of originality and the contextualization involved in the research. If the contextualization is lacking in while research reporting, the research will be a reproductive one rather than a derivative one. Say, for example, I'm very particular in doing as a researcher. My intention is doing a study on the social adjustment problems from the orphan students of Malabar. Say, for example, I'm telling as for illustration. So this is the context: orphan students of Malabar. So in my research, if I am not emphasizing the context of the research, the context of the cultural context of the Malabar, the cultural and various psychosocial, emotional issues of the orphans very particularly, that research methodology will not bring an original work. And say for example, another research I'm studying on. See, my intention too is to study on the emotional issues of the women whose husbands or whose partners are working abroad in the COVID pandemic period. This is my research quest, my research intention. So the context I am presenting here is the emotional problem. Emotional problem is the general research platform or the general research variable, but I am adding the context of my research, the pandemic period, then the problem of the women or whose husbands are working abroad. And if I'm not able to integrate in an established manner, in a very synchronized resonancing is not there related to the context of the study, that research is not derivative, and that research is only reproductive in nature. And it will be adding that if I'm pinpointing on the specific topic, it will be adding as a research done, conducted in studying the emotional problems of women. If we are not taking the context of the topic, context of the population, and context of the cultural milieu of the participants of the study. And these trend I am submitting for further exploration in all the process of research hereafter. And I admit and appreciate that all of us are very much concerned about these trends, but as a reinforcing mechanism, I'm just putting this as a quest and submission before you. My points are strategic intuition. Then second trend, exploit latest digital tools. Then third one, scriptural references. Then fourth one, so theory correlation. And fifth one, see, leverage the technological aspects in research. Then sixth one, focus on personal observations. And the third one, race to the passes. The next one is race to the passes. And the last one, which I want to, the list goes on. You cannot stop that. These are the trends. So these are the trends I could able to sort out by reading, by my intuition, intuitive thinking on this topic, and relying on the various literature which I could able to sort out. And very important is that freedom from the form. And as a result, I can present this suggested methodology of this research as self-explanatory. I can represent the process of the research in the modern trend, define the research problem. Then this definition of the research problem will be, it's a giveaway from the review. The problem will be, you see, a tool for review, and review also will be a tool for problem definition. Then second aspect is review previous finding. And as this diagram is clearly self-explanatory, illustrative, this process will lead to formulation of the hypothesis, and from that hypothesis formulation, incorporating all these four aspects will forming a design of the research. Then with the design, collection of the data, and then comes the analysis and interpret and report. And here two connotations are there, F and FF. The F determines feedback that helps in controlling the subsystem to which it is transmitted, and FF determine the feedback for the previous function of providing criteria of evaluation. So that means, so at each stage of research, the trend must be in such a way that there is scope for revision. Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can hear, sir. We can hear you. Continue, sir.
Hello?
Hello, sir. Continue, sir.
There is scope for revision, evaluation, and further see upward movement as far as the hello.
Hello, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Hello.
Continue. Please continue.
Hello. Yes.
Hello, sir.
So this is a self-explanatory, and we can think it over. And there should be provision for self-correction as far as the researcher concerned at each stage of research, taking see the steps which I connoted it as FF. Yes, coming to the first trend, strategic intuition. Every research supervisor, in one or other time had faced the situation, faced the question from the scholar, Sir, will you please give a problem for research? As if the trend is that, as if the students are approaching for approaching for research problem to the supervisor, but the creative, a strategic intuition from the part of the researcher is very essential in the process of strategic intuition. No, it is an intuition from as presented by the Kafka, Kohler, and Wertheimer in the experiment of the Canary Islands of South Africa. But this is a strategic intuition. See, let me quote as an anecdote here. After the Mahabharata war, Yudhishthira approaches Bhishma, and as of my limited knowledge and reading, I believe that it is because of the instruction and preaching of Lord Krishna that the end of the death of Bhishmacharya is going to happen, and he is a scholar, and he had devoted for the permanent existence of the Kuru dynasty, and therefore it is the time to get anything. Anything remaining from him you can take. And as a result of this strategic induction, Yudhishthira approaches Bhishmacharya, and Bhishmacharya and Yudhishthira in all comes and takes learnings. Perhaps Dr. Regusar can give more idea on this, because in many forum I could able to listen to Regusar that quoting on the ancestral heritage of Indian culture and linking to our present system of education. So here I do appreciate that. Here, as an illustration, what I am quoting is, so this is some kind of a strategic intuition from the part of Yudhishthira. Such kind of a strategic intuition should be there in the process of the research. But very sorry to observe and notice that strategic intuition is lacking in most of the research culture in the field of educational research. Then another trend which I want to highlight is exploit digital tools. Don't hesitate to incorporate the digital tools for all the process of the research steps, all the steps of the research, as word cloud analysis, Google Trends, sentiment analysis, and all the kinds of it goes. I am not an expert in that field, but I have that very positively, I must say that I have that mindset of accepting the trends that is going in the field of education, in the field of technology, and experimenting at least in a micro level, at least with one kind of a tool in the research in any step. But there should not be any total aversion, negative aversion towards the digital tools that is bringing our canvas as that opens wide canvas to our research culture. Then scriptural references. See, what happens? Knowledge is no problem in this world without a reference made in ancient scriptures. Don't take it as a loose sentence from my part. It is an evidenced. See, there are every kind of interpretation which is we will be embracing and astonishing on seeing our classic text, whether spiritual, religious, or classics, etc. So how the what is the process and how it happened is still a misery as far as my personal experience is concerned. But there is a clue in spiritual and scriptural text for all kind of problems. So what is needed is we have to take that clues and chunk up with the modern trends and derive solutions for the present day world. But in research, what happens? Replacement of knowledge, that is, ultimately, replacement of knowledge by conjecture, false information, false procedure, that will block the direction of the researcher, and as a result, the problem for the researcher is the researcher could not able to establish or fulfill the objective of the research as intended or as visualized in the beginning. Yeah. So my question is, why should every single researcher not endeavor to produce a new theory, a new equation, a new formula as an outcome of his research work? Why it does not happen? So either as a knowledge production, or as a verification, or as an application. But simply, if it is not substantially stated without theoretical correlations, it is just becoming a replica of the research work, and therefore the trend as a fourth trend, I wish to submit to have a theory correlation on all research. Then fifth one, leverage technology. See, in this use new age technological tools available so as to make the research design impeccable, diverse, and up to date. Use digital qualitative method, online interviews and focus groups, then application of anthropological methodology, then qualitative ethnography, then complexity theories, then intersection of qualitative research practice with the sciences, then design-based research, critical race theories in qualitative research methods. So these are the trends to be incorporated in the research culture of education. Unless and until we are not able to leverage, calibrate our research with incorporating digital qualitative methods and then online interviews and focus groups, then anthropological methods like which comes under the qualitative approach of research, say for example ethnography, then grounded theory research, then phenomenology, etc., etc. Then complexity theory that is existing in the study of organizational behavior. Then the intersection of qualitative research practice with the science, then design-based research, then critical race theories that is well used by the researchers in studying the gender issues and gender stereotyping. So that is leveraging of the research by making use of the technological advancement. Now, next is focus on personal observation. Data statistics is the scientific method of collection, classification, representation, analysis, interpretation of numerical data with a view to make meaningful inferences on the object on which the data were collected. See, it's a quote from Stephen. But see, personal observation is very important in the educational research. Friends, let me ask a question, and we know that absolute zero is not possible in social science research. Why? Because so the people, the humankind is dual in nature. The dynamism of humankind is dual in nature. There is an explicit reality and implicit reality. And this explicit is the part which we are observing above the surface of the iceberg. And the implicit reality of the human individual is the vast and deep experiences and phenomena that an individual face, and it may be collapsed with the mountains underneath of that surface. So while dealing with social science, and particularly while dealing with the participants of the educational research, it is very important that we have to take care of both the explicit and implicit part of human entity. Then only we could able to contextualize our research, and we could able to address in a subjective manner the realities of the human entity. See, say for example, the racial exposure very often as a psychology student, I used to observe my mother. I am taking a subjective reality in front of you. There are mothers, there are grandmothers here, and there are would-be mothers expected. Okay, see, in this heterogeneous group, I am putting a reality of my personal life. After familiarizing with some of the basic things of psychology, I used to observe my mother. See, during 60s, she passed matriculation with a high merit. But due to the cultural milieu existed at that time, and the backwardness, and the problems faced by the women at that particular level, she could not able to continue her cherish her higher studies as she wished or intended. And from there, so immediate after at a low chronological age, marriage, and immediately after the marriage, consecutive deliveries. So as a psychology student, I used to ask this question to me, and very often I happen to interact in a very respectful but affectionate manner. Whether as a woman, are you happy, ma'am? Are you happy, mama? Are you happy? So unless and until we are not able to bring about that kind of a dominated explore, we make an attempt to explore the dominated reality of the participants in the study, we will not be able to bring about the context of that individual subjective realities. Suppose I am giving a questionnaire to my mother. Please tick mark in that items. I don't believe that that tick marking is not sufficient enough to bring about the see underneath realities of my mother, who had been living for see this much years with this much kind of experiences and deprivations of that age, etc., etc. And this is the same issue where an educational researcher is conducting a research on the problems, educational problems of the migrant workers or educational problems of the transgenders. Is it good enough to say that a debit of a questionnaire and putting that questionnaire to these group of participants and allowing them to tick mark and just convert it into a quantitative data? I am not neglecting, I am not underestimating the psychometric significance that is there in the educational research. But in order to go ahead with the postmodern culture of the world and post-globalized system of the world, where we are moving to a multicultural and all kinds of issues where the people are creating their identity and celebrating their identity and expressing and exposing their identity and try to dominate the identity on other cultures in this cultural milieu, merely depending on the psychometric system will not be efficient to bring about the dominated reality of the subject of our discipline, that is human and human issues. So, therefore, a shift is needed in terms of from quantitative and qualitative mixing. And here I am presenting contrasting aspects of qualitative and quantitative research strategies that every one of us know, and it is somehow if we are not lacking that qualitative culture in data collection, if the problem warrant is you to do that, if we are neglecting that qualitative culture of research on the name of the academic formalities or on the name of the technical issues or time concern, etc., the purpose and intention of the research cannot be justified. And here I highlight some of the methods of research, qualitative research method, which and my suggestion is psychometric research. Now it is almost popularized and is there in the research, educational research domains, but we very often fail to experiment with these kind of phenomenological research and ethnographic research and these grounded theory research. And phenomenology focuses on the commonality of a lived experience within a particular group. And I submit the association, the Airio organizers. It will be very useful in the coming series of talks if experts are invited to have a discourse on a particular method of research, like phenomenology or ethnographic research, or and these analytical induction studies, etc. And my suggestion is, it is to be executed, implemented as a brainstorming session where the practical one or other experts can submit some illustrations and work out a problem. Then the platform or the participants can work it as a exercise, or that forum can discuss or debate on the various methodological issues that happens to encounter during the process of this particular kind of research. So due to the conjunction of time, I am not in a position to move to elaborately to these various kinds of research, but I must illuminate that experimenting this kind of a research. So for suppose we are supervising the researchers, supervising the research scholars, say for example 6 or 8 or something like that, 8 or 6 or 4. See, out of these, why can't we experiment with a particular issue of human encounter with this kind of a research? So then only the educational research culture will be able to address the hardcore realities of the current day world. That is my submission. And now I will conclude by putting some of the ethical issue. And I quote Davidson and Pupy, there is no one right way to approach qualitative research, and indeed there is a diversity of ways by which we could approach qualitative research concept. And qualitative research is vulnerable to bias through the attitude and knowledge. See, this is focusing on some of the barriers or some of the precautions that we have to take by conducting qualitative research. Qualitative research is totally criticized by saying that what is the evidence? Where is the objectivity? See, objectivity culture is for that kind of a when we are at par with trying to par with the positive normative sciences education, though the subject of education or the participants of the educational research is totally subjective in nature, but the research culture is again transforming this subjective culture to objective. But then automatically a question arises, how we can justify the methodology of research or the methodology of scientific study. Hence, procedures like data triangulation, then constant visit to the field, then steps of data analysis examination through critical reflection and examination, then pair checking, confirmation from informants, and correction are to be executed while doing qualitative research in a large manner. So, my friends, so far I had tried to bring your attention to some of the trends that is to be followed in educational research, rather than following the conventional status quo maintaining trends. As rigorous researchers, we have to prove and we have to show some of the trends to be followed by others, so that we can say that the future of the educational research culture is optimistic, and I hope and wish that this effort will be accomplished in due course of time by the academic interference of this organization. Once again, I am very much thankful to beloved His Excellency Father and all the organizers, and very specifically to Dr. Geeta Madam for inviting me for this program. And I am very happy to have any kind of sharing, and please supplement and enlighten me on my research culture. And I do strongly assert that I'm an infant, and we have a lot of way to go further in the research field. And I request all your prayers and wishes for that. Let the blessings of God be there in all our life. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We are listening to a very enlightening session from Dr. Mustafa, and we are not at all at a loss. It was an excellent presentation on new directions of research. Even the senior faculty members, senior research guides also have gained a lot of intuitions from your presentation. Sir, how much time can you give for an interaction session? Now we can move on to the interaction session. You can raise your queries or you can give your personal observations on the sessions. Dr. Mustafa, can you give 10 minutes or so for the interaction?
Yeah, 10 minutes, madam. The fact is that I have another program. I am sitting in the Calicut Tower here and attending this session.
Okay, now it is 11:42. You have to leave by 11:45. Is it so?
And now 11:50. 50. It's okay.
11:50. Okay. Then we can have one or two queries or one or two suggestions or your opinion. Okay. Please, the participants, please participate.
Respected sir, I am Dr. Molikuti. Can you hear, sir?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Regarding the dominated reality, you are told about the dominated reality. Even if you are asking the respondent, there is no guarantee that they will honestly respond. And even they sincerely respond, each person may have different experience, entirely different experience. Take the case of the Great Indian Kitchen. Whoever responds with that, it is always each person is having entirely different experience to share. How can we quantify these data?
Can I respond?
Yes.
Now?
Yes.
Yes. I appreciate this is the practical. I appreciate Dr. Molikuti madam's observation. This is the reality concern which all of us are having. So what the qualitative researchers submit to this problem, the suggested ways to tackle this problem is to cross-check the data through multiple line of approach. And the present trend is that report the subjective perception of the subject concerned as such, so that there is a scope. We are giving for a scope for illuminating the researchers to that specific problem. So the point is clear from my side, madam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Sir, I would like to appreciate the initiative taken by the Kerala chapter of Airio, escalating Airio from the status of the social gathering platform of researchers and research guides to a highly serious discussion on matters related with modern trends in research. I appreciate Dr. Mustafa for your very excellent coverage of topic with the latest trends in research that we have to continue the discussion further. Some of the many of the points that you have raised, I have certain suggestions for the area to take up in the matter that the process of selection of candidates for the research. For example, after completing their JRF or any other or university level screening test, the people are joining for the research as just initially mentioned by Dr. Mustafa, that for the purpose of having advancement in career, everyone require a research degree nowadays. But is there any mechanism like that of the National Testing Agency or any such government level organization, a responsible body, is having a kind of research aptitude test similar to many other aptitude tests in the country? That is actually that kind of change must be there to screen the candidates or to identify the correct research caliber of a candidate. I think that such a kind of mechanism must be introduced if it is not available. Secondly, from the presentations, what I understand is that there must be a trans methodological dimension of research rather than the status quo research that is going on. Imbibing or copying or emulating the positivist paradigm in its appreciating its the so-called scientific temperament and backing, but that may not be suitable for a social science research. What I read from your discussion is that the concept of the emic-ethic experience of the researcher, highlighting the contextualization of the research, we can migrate from the ethic experience to that of the emic experience, in which the researcher become part and parcel of the research process, so that that experience building, where the Molekuti was asking a question that for a particular problem, there may be different kinds of interpretation from a person, how that could be quantified. So the fundamental question is that whether quantification is always required in a research.
Needed.
That's a pertinent question. If we are solely making ourselves slaves for quantification, then there is no new illumination or lighting in our mind. That should be the response, that a trans methodological approach must be highlighted. The third one is that there must be a trans reporting style in the research. None of us as research guides or research scholars may not support our students or the future researchers. Why we can't have a different kind of reporting style of the research, starting from introduction, review of literature, methodology, analysis, result interpretation, conclusion, future research, like that. Traditionally, we follow a pattern, but there are trends that people have reverted the method. The first chapter will be the result. The second chapter will be the why and how I came to the result through the analysis. And third chapter goes to the methodology, how that I came to this particular result through the analysis. The fourth chapter comes to the coming with the theoretical framework and then the review. And then the last chapter will be the justification for my research, in the sense that instead of saying in the introductory chapter that scope and need, hypothetical argumentations, etc. The last chapter, the first chapter comes, the last chapter with a title called Justification of the Work. So why we should we are not thinking in that direction also, because this is not a new thing. Already in certain specific domains, this kind of reverting the trans reporting style also already got started or established. So these are some of the suggestions, because Airio seems to be the association meant for researchers. We have to undertake a very serious discussion, and we have to come up with workable new models of research, so that our relevance and the significance will be highlighted all through the academic arena. I appreciate Mr. Mustafa for giving a quick start or a kindlation for this kind of thoughts. Thank you very much.
Well, Professor Mustafa, I must appreciate you for taking lead and investing meaningful time. You have done a very good homework. We appreciate that. It's a very good starting point. Of course, time at our disposal was very limited. Still, you have done justice to the topic. Congratulations. Now, I must appreciate Dr. M.S. Geeta for taking lead, and Kerala has shown a model, and we have to travel a lot. I mean, we have to cover many areas. Well, just a few thoughts about it. You know, research is an area which is always changing. A lot of innovations are happening throughout the world. I would like to quote the famous lines from Kalidasa, great Kalidasa. Shane Shane Yet Naveda Mubedi, Tadeva Rubam Remaniyataya, which is beautiful. There was a question at the time of Kalidasa. His answer was something different. Shane Shane, every minute, Yet Naveda Mubedi, which is coming innovative, which is coming new, which is new in shape. Tadeva Rubam, that shape, that thought, that content will be appreciated by the world. So same theory is applicable in research. So what innovations you have, the content, the methodology, the style, the presentation, lot of changes are happening. But unfortunately, in our system, we follow, which was rightly pointed out by Professor Mustafa, we follow the European concept. Now, in Indian literature, in Indian tradition, in Indian research, great authors like Yaska, Panini, you know, like that, great people are there who did wonderful work before Christ. Yaska lived before 7th century and 5th century before Christ. He did wonderful research in grammar. Panini did wonderful research. Panini is highly appreciated by German scholars. He has not written grammar for a language. He has written grammar for the humanity, human behavior, human life. But we seldom understand about it. We need to think about it. We need to go deep into those areas. Anyhow, thank you very much for participating, all the participants, the presenter and the organizer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Can we wind up, because it is time?
Yes.
Time is 11:53. Sir, please listen to our Thanksgiving session also. I invite Dr. G.B. Givargis, Associate Professor of Martiophilus Training College and Treasurer Airio Global, for giving thanks to him.
Thank
GB,
you.
Dr. GB.
Yeah, I am here. Thank you, Geeta teacher. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
His Excellency, Most Reverend Dr. Joseph Ma Thomas, our Chief Guest, Dr. Mustafa, our President, Kerala Chapter, Dr. Geeta M.S., all the Dr. Geeta Janet Vitus, all the executives of global, national and regional Airio, and dear participants. On behalf of Airio, Kerala Chapter, and Global Fraternity, I feel immense pleasure to propose a vote of thanks to each and everyone. As we know, the simplest formula for getting success is getting started. Now, Kerala Chapter has begun a very good initiative, and well begun. That means half done. This is the first step towards attaining research excellency in the field of education. And we know Airio is on the path of leaping progress, and the new buds, the new chapters are sprouting out and making Airio an ever-growing launchpad for making for research excellence. By all means, the global, national, and regional chapters are the proproots of Airio Global. So I would like to congratulate each and everyone Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Sorry for the inconvenience. At the outset, I take this opportunity to express our deep gratitude and loyalty to His Excellency Dr. Joseph Ma Thomas, Global President, Bishop of Bethany, and former Principal of Ma Theophilus Training College, and the recipient of many awards for his sincere education and research field and for the community, who spared the valuable time from his busy schedule to grace this occasion with his inaugural address. Thank you so much, beloved Bishop, for always encouraging us and providing opportunity to guide us and to organize events such as this talk series to promote our research program. Thank you, Pidave. On behalf of the Airio fraternity, I thank you, Pidave. Thank you so much, Pidave. Now, a deep sense of gratitude to our chief guest, that is none other than Dr. Mustafa. Indeed, we are fortunate enough to have such a resourceful person, Dr. Mustafa, a person lauded with a great vision, great ideas, and a lot of others in his cap. Thank you so much, sir, for exploring a new trajectory of research in education with your 5 new point trends in education, and also for citing so many interesting examples like Yudhishthira, strategic intuition, and like that. So on behalf of Airio fraternity, I thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful, meaningful, and relevant, pragmatic talk to this session. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I would like to thank our Kerala chapter president, Dr. M.S. Geeta, who is the backbone of Kerala chapter, former principal, Government Training College, and former dean, University of Kerala. A big hats off to you, teacher, for putting this webinar into a great success in a meaningful way. Teacher, I would like to extend a big salute to your sincerity and for your smart work, teacher.
Thank you. Thank you, Dibi. Thank you.
Teacher. Now I would like to thank Dr. Geeta Janet Vitus, Vice President, Airio Kerala Chapter, and Chairperson, Board of Studies, Education, and Professor, Department of Education, for having given us a short but sweet felicitation speech. Thank you, Geeta Janet, teacher. Thank you so much.
Thank you, GB. Thank you.
I extend a deep gratitude to Dr. V. Rekhu, National President, Dr. K.Y. Benedict, Dr. Molikuti, for participating actively in the discussion forum and for leading our global, national, and regional chapters so effectively. Thank you all. Thank you so much for lending all the support for making this area a strong one in the research field. Thank you all. Thank you. A big appreciation to the webinar coordinator, that is none other than Dr. Ansi Ayers, for all her efforts in this regard. She put all her effort for the smooth conduct of this program, brochure preparation, then technical support, then telecasting this webinar through our radio channel, and for whatnot. Thank you, NC. Thank you so much for your effort, timeless effort. Thank you, NC. Thank you. A deep sense of appreciation to all the participants for attending the seminar with great enthusiasm, and you made it this a successful event. So thank you all participants. Thank you, dear global executives. Thank you, national executives, and thank you, regional executives. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you, GB.
Thank you, Mustafa sir. You can leave the session now because it is time, sir. It is 12 o'clock. You can join the
Yes.
other link. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Good time management. Good time management. It is 12 o'clock.
And as I said, it is 12 o'clock. And okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. End of the session. And then what about the
പിതാവിന്റെ
link?
മൈക്ക് ഓഫാ. പിതാവിന്റെ മൈക്ക് ഓഫാ.
Often.
ഇപ്പൊ ശരിയായി.
So it was a very innovative program. So thank you, Ms. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's really a good one. Thank you, Jimmy, also proposing a lot of thanks.
Geeta teacher started very well.
Thank you. Thank you.
12 other talks are waiting ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Pidavi.
ഗീത
Thank you,
ടീച്ചറെ
Jimmy.
ടീച്ചറെ സമയം ഒന്ന് മാറ്റിയാലോ? ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് സാറ്റർഡേ വർക്കിംഗ് ഡേ.
എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നത് നമ്മൾ അന്ന് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്തിരുന്നു. കാരണം ഒരു 6 to 7 അല്ലെങ്കിൽ